Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 58 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I am getting situated on the server. I am hanging out, playing around with some of my sorting system here. Looks like everything's flowing smoothly. I have been collecting a bit of quartz and quartz dust, which is going to be really useful later down the line. Now, I also want to start working. I think today I'd like to introduce you guys to the alveary. Now, the alveary is an important part of bees, and for those of you who are interested in seeing how the whole bee system can be adapted to use alvearies, you're in for a good treat because we've got, I think, pretty much everything we need to get this thing going. So we've got a chest full of all kinds of good stuff right here, and we've got a liquid tank full of honey. So I think I'm going to build a nice little system that'll help me get things going with the alveary. Now, I want to also introduce you guys to what I've dubbed the UberBreeder. I built this in my multiplayer series, but I'm going to rebuild it here with a little bit more of a tutorial style nature, just so you guys can see it coming together. I think when I built it in multiplayer, I kind of rushed through it and didn't really go over exactly how well it worked. So I'm going to introduce you guys to the UberBreeder. I need to get myself another carpenter and a couple other cool things. So why don't I get all the ingredients that I need to start working on alvearies, and then we'll be back to put it all together. Alright guys, so first step, got to get ourselves a liquid tesseract. Why am I getting one of them? Well, I want to have the construction occur here in the little workshop area that I've got set up, and we're going to need a carpenter with some honey in it. So I figured, alright, well, we've already got the honey hooked up to a liquid tesseract. Might as well tune into that frequency and get things going. So I've got a carpenter right here already, and I've got a couple other blocks that are useful. I think I'm going to move my fabricator. I can just get another one later on, but for now I'm going to put my liquid tesseract here, and we'll hook this guy up to the honey out frequency, right? So honey flowing out, that sounds good. We're going to set you to receive mode, and we should be good to go. Now, next up, we want to put down our carpenter, and it should immediately fill up with honey. Perfect, cool. Now, alveary blocks require a couple different things. First off, we're going to need about, I want to say 26 of these. I think that sounds right. 26, 27, 27, something like that. So we're going to need a lot of this stuff. We need the impregnated casings, which you guys have seen me make in the past. That requires some seed oil and a bunch of logs. No problem there. But the honey comes in from scented paneling. We're going to need some royal jelly. We're going to need some beeswax and pollen and some old regular wood. So we better hook up some power to this thing so that it's able to run. So let's get our, let's see, do we have any? There we go, redstone energy cell conduit things. Perfect. I think we're going to need to... Oh, didn't want to break that. That was a mistake, but oh well. I'll live. There we go. Put this guy back down. Wasted a little honey. I'll live. There we go. Filled back up. Now it's got power. Everything's good. We can seal this floor back up, and we'll be in good shape. Cool. Even got a little project table here. Nice. Alright, so we're going to want to put the recipes in here that are needed. So let's get started. I'm going to go kick off the seed oil, even though that won't be too bad. Let's do that one. So I probably just need, I need more wood than that. Let's put this back. I'm sneaking outside. That'll do. I don't even know if that's close or right or whatever, but it'll be fine. I think I need 4 stacks of wood. That should be a rough estimate of what I need. We'll just get that going right now. Oh, we already have lots of wood in there. Cool. Take these impregnated sticks out, and that should do. So like I said, about 4 stacks ought to be enough. We'll let that cook up, and then I want to get started on this stuff. So I showed you guys I needed pollen, royal jelly, and beeswax, and a decent amount of it at that. So, let's see. We'll get like 4 of you, and just 1 or 2 of these, I think, is really all that's needed. Actually, I think it might just be... Let's check that alveary recipe again. 1 pollen and royal jelly for 2 beeswax. So that works, right? 1 pollen and royal jelly for 2 beeswax. And then we're going to, of course, need some regular old wood, but we can manage that in a moment here. Oh, getting dark. Now, like I said, we need a lot of this stuff. I think overall we need 108 of these. So, pollen, royal jelly, and there we go. Beeswax, pollen, royal jelly, and we can just get ourselves a bunch of this stuff. Wood. Lots and lots of wood. And as soon as I set this recipe down and put the wood in there, it should start cooking up, as we would expect, and that will start getting us what we need. Like I said, I need about 108 of this, so almost 2 stacks, not quite, but this should be a pretty appropriate amount. It's going to take a while though, so we're probably going to have to take a break here and come back in a few minutes when we're ready. So I will clean up my inventory and either start working on something else or just come back when we're done. So while we're waiting for all these things to cook up, there's a couple other little gadgets I want to make. And for that, I'm going to want to make sure that my thermionic fabricator is running and has a good supply of glass, because we're going to need this thing in a moment here. What I want to do is just make a couple frames ahead of time. Now, Extra Bees adds several alveary blocks that instead of building your alveary with just regular alveary blocks, you can replace them with these special blocks that make changes to it. Now, just the regular old forestry has a couple blocks in and of itself. It's got the swarmer and the alveary fan and the alveary heater and the hygro regulator, which can pretty much affect the temperature and humidity inside the alveary. So you can get bees in there that are just more, tolerant of the environment they're in. However, Extra Bees add some really cool stuff like the mutator, which can significantly increase the chances of mutating your bees. And that's why I call this machine that I'm about to build here the UberBreeder, because we're going to use mutator blocks to increase the chance of a mutation by a significant amount, almost guaranteed pretty much. And you can also throw some frame housings in there, which is pretty cool. And the frame housings allow you to insert frames into your alveary. Now typically you don't need the frames, because the alveary, whereas the basic apiaries only have about 10% speed with regards to how much they produce, the bees that is, and when you put frames in there, it bumps it up by about 20%. So in the end, you can really only get a max of 70%, because there's 3 frame slots in any apiary. But with the alveary, you get 100% productivity all by itself. So just by way of having an alveary, you have 100% productivity. Now with frame housing in there, you can modify the way the bees behave, and we're going to put some of these things together. So let's get ourselves some diamantine electron tubes. Looks pretty good. And we're probably going to also need some gold ones, as we saw, so let's just get 4 of you and 4 of you and just a bunch of redstone. Sure, why not? So we're just going to need something like this. Did I get the wrong? I think it's this. What did I do wrong here? Oh yeah, I do need 5. Look at that. Okay, that was close. It's 4 that you produce. Okay, my bad. Alright, so 4 of them ought to do. And I think I'm probably going to need more than this, right? Because I want to have a total, I think, of 3 mutators, and we're probably going to need more frame housings than I've got set up already for. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now the other things you can make are rain shields, so that even if your bees aren't tolerant of the rain, that you can, go ahead and they'll live and be happy. And the same for the lighting. You can get a lighting in there, which is pretty nice. What that does is it allows the bees to, produce even at night. But I've got some mutations going on and changed the way the breeding and the traits of the different bees are. So I'm not too worried about that stuff. But, we'll see. We might want to grab it because sometimes as we mutate bees, they lose some of those traits. So we just want to keep that in mind. All right, so we've got the basics of what we're going to need to get ourselves the mutator and the frame housing. And I think that's pretty good. We might, like I said, go ahead and make a rain shield and lighting just for the heck of it, but I'm not going to prepare those. But I've got the electron tubes ready to go. Might need some more gold ones eventually, but for now we're good. How is our carpenter doing? Not bad. We've had better amounts of carpenter productivity in the past, but it's still cruising along. So we'll be back in a bit once more of these things are ready. Well, guys, looks like we're pretty much there. I've got the 27 impregnated casings that I'm going to need to get started with this. And if I head back to my main base where I've got the honey cooking up, we're going to be pretty close, if not already there. Yeah, I think we're good. So I've got all this stuff. Let's put them together. So like I said, you need 27 of these alveary blocks. And I'm going to go ahead and put these guys together now. So that'll get me my first 8. And this will get me 16 more. And then hopefully at least a few more of these guys. And like I said, a few extra alveary blocks probably won't hurt. Cool. So that's our very first alveary set. Now, they're multi-block structures, as you guys should know. Multi-blocks are awesome, and they're lots of fun to play with. And that's what I'm going to be doing here, is playing with some multi-blocks. Put these guys together. I'm going to show you the basic configuration for an alveary first. Remember, basically, if you want to put your bees into an alveary, the bonuses are, number one, that you're going to get a lot, and I mean a lot more materials out of it. You're going to get pretty much 10 times the amount of stuff as you would have gotten if you had a bee sitting in your apiary without any frames. So no frames versus alveary, 10 times as much stuff. Awesome. But in addition to that, just with regular old forestry, without any extra bees at all stuff, you can also, like I said, upgrade to get the swarmer, which gets you some extra queens and princesses, but they have a shortened lifespan and eventually die out, and you won't get any more princesses when the queen dies. So the swarmers are neat, but I rarely use them. The alveary fan, which cools down the alveary, so if it's too hot in the environment for the bee, it'll cool it off, and vice versa, the heater will warm it up. And then finally, we've got the hygroregulator, which can help with the humidity of the environment. So let's put our very first alveary block. I want to put it in this corner. And I'm just going to sink it into the ground a little bit. We might wind up tweaking this a bit. But to build your alveary, it's real simple. 3 by 3 all the way across. And you do 3 layers of 3 by 3, which, you know, makes perfect sense considering we needed 27 of these things. Cool. And then on top, you want to put some wooden slabs. Not bad at all. And if you've done everything correctly, you should get these little blocks in the front here. Cool, we've got an alveary. So now we can go ahead and put our bees in here, and the alveary will tick along and do its thing. So one thing that I used a huge portion amount was pollen. So we definitely want to get ourselves some more pollen. We know those come from the industrious queens. So let's go ahead and just put our industrious queen right here in the alveary. And we're going to let her do her thing. Now she's going to be producing a lot more pollen and a lot more combs. In just a bit, we'll set this up to auto cycle. So it automatically, you know, recycles the bee when we want it to, and it'll send all the stuff back. Now, in the meantime, while this thing is going here, and I'm just demonstrating how things work, I'm going to start getting ready to set up the UberBreeder. So we're going to have to put together the alveary with a couple other items that I already prepared and told you about, the mutator and the frame housing, and then we'll be able to breed our bees so fast it'll blow your mind. Just a brief aside here, guys. I wanted to show you this. I came over to my mining well because I noticed I hadn't gotten any items in a while, and it did get stuck on a mountain. I thought I built it tall enough that it wouldn't get stuck on a mountain, but I guess it was just, you know, a really tall mountain it ran into. Oh well, no big deal. I just had to swing by, clear out some dirt. It probably, well, yeah, it definitely could have gotten stuck here. So, yeah, no big deal though. Just if this does ever happen, knock out the dirt, make sure there's nothing touching the frames, and then it's back to running mode. I actually turned it off and then initiated it with my remote here. So there we go, running again. Back home, please. And let's check on that bee, shall we? Up here we should see a bee that might be dead. Oh yeah, but look how much stuff I got. That bee was like half alive, and I got like 8 stringy combs, 6 pollen. So like I said, tons of resources come about from just using alvearies in the first place. They're also really neat because they can tell you like the current environment, so you can see right now what the temperature and humidity is, and some other important stuff like you know, little tips and who can access it and stuff like that. Awesome. But that's not what we want to use the alveary for. Not the first one, at least. You know, I mean, maybe eventually I'll have an alveary doing that, but for now, it's UberBreeder time. That's right. Let's get one set up. Alright, so let's do it, guys. What I'm going to do is knock everything apart here. Now, this will break the multi-block, of course, but it gives me back my pieces. Now, what I've discovered is that, you know, this block right here is the center block on each top row. So, that one, and this one should not be replaced by frame components, you know, like any wacky weird blocks. Okay, so I'm going to leave all those in place, but I don't have any problem moving any of the other ones. So let's make that happen now. So I'm just going to basically, you know, knock all this stuff apart, and I'm also going to take down over here. Cool, and I think I can break these ones as well, no problem. I think it's really just the top, you know, middle rows that I shouldn't mess with too much, but we're gonna see. All right, so that ought to be good, and I'm probably also gonna want to knock out, you know, some of these sides as well. Cool. Now, to make your block, we just combine the recipe as shown in there. So I want to actually get myself 3 of the mutator blocks. I think that is what I determined to be a pretty decent amount. And, oh, did I forget gold? I could have sworn I grabbed some. Alright, I forgot gold and iron. Let me go get it. Gold and iron. Not going to need full stacks by far, but I will need a decent amount, so better than counting it all out. Alright, so putting it together. I'm going to want 3 mutator blocks. So we're going to get these 3, and that'll give me 3 mutators. Mutators help to increase the chance of mutation. So I'm probably going to put these guys along the back row. Alright, now for the frame blocks, I'm going to go with, for now, 5 of them. Okay, so to get the frame blocks, it's really not too bad. We just need golden electron tubes and iron across the top. Get you frame housing. Okay. And what do I say, 5 of them? Sure. Frame housings. Not bad. So let's put this multi-block together again and see if everything wants to behave now. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the corners along the top. And hopefully this does not have a problem. Multi-block structure form, hooray, it worked. Perfect, that's what I like to see. So basically, like, the top row here, I don't think likes being all messed with, okay? Which is no big deal. Now, in the back, okay, down here, I want to go ahead and actually remove 2 more of these. So let's get this one and this one. And I want to go ahead and make, I told you guys I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I want to make the lighting and the rain shield, because the reason this is when you do your mutations, sometimes you get a new bee, and even though like both parent bees had like no problem with rain or dark, you know, the mutation might not be good to that effect. So you'll want to go ahead and do this. So doesn't hurt. Rain shield, I think it was these 2 for rain shield, yep. And the glowstone helps to keep it bright enough for your bees to do their thing. Awesome. And we'll go ahead and put these guys on the bottom row. So here and here. Beautiful. Reform of the multi-block, please. Hooray! Everything's working. Now, let's talk about mutations inside this thing. So how do we use these? Well, first off, we're going to need some frames. And what I particularly prefer to use are the chocolate frames, because chocolate frames, as we know, make the bee just die off that much quicker. So I got 5 frame housings in there. So I'm going to go get, you saw me, I had a bunch of the sticks over here, right? Yeah, good. A stack of them. Perfect. Let's go ahead and put these together and get chocolate frames. Okay, I'm going to get 5 of them. So into here we go. And I'm going to need the frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll make these chocolate. 1, 2. I'm going to need a little bit more chocolate. What was the recipe for this with UU matter? Oh, I know it. I know it, I know it, I know it. But I don't remember it. UU matter chocolate recipe. Gonna have to track that one down. I think it was something like, I don't know, I'll find it. I remember it was something like an arrow, and it's this. Cool. Remember, UU recipes are hidden in NEI by default, but that's a config option that you can disable if you want. But, you know, I just have it in there. All right, so more chocolate, and then there we go, chocolate frames. Cool. Now the other thing I'm going to need, you ready for this? This is the next component. So chocolate frames will make our bees die quicker, but the mutator blocks actually need an item too. There's several things you can place in a mutator block, but one of the best ones to put is, dun dun dun, uranium. Yeah, that's right, uranium. We're going to go ahead and mutate these bees with uranium. All of a sudden, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah. You could also put other things in there, and the different items you put in have different effects. So uranium has one of the better effects. It's you know, pretty high up there, but it's not the best, believe it or not. The best effect is the wither drop, the nether star. That will have the best effect on the mutations. It'll pretty much guarantee it. But in my opinion, I've found that, you know, Now, 3 uranium is just as good at almost guaranteeing the mutation effect. So that's what I'm going with, because uranium is a lot easier to find than nether stars, right? So we've got the mutation mutator ready. They're all filled in. The frame housings all have chocolate frames in them, which will hopefully make the bees die quicker. I might need a couple more frame housings. We'll see. 5, I think, is pretty good. I want to go sleep through the night, and then I'm going to show you guys the UberBreeder in action. Let's give it a shot. So first, bee species that I want to mutate. I want to go in here and get one of these rocky princesses, okay? Snagging that out of there. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to go up the rocky line. As we know, there's a bunch of different stuff we can get. Let's see, where are we at? Ender pouch. Where's my white bag? There it is. I want to get out my Beealizer, and I want to get out my Apiarist's data bank. So already I've discovered in my Apiarist data bank the Rocky chain. Where's Rocky at? Okay, it's not in there. Maybe I have to Beealizer first. A Rocky Princess. Okay, cool. Rocky, you know why? Maybe because I haven't actually ever put the Rocky bees through the system before, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is put the Rocky Princess in here, and I just happen to know that a good combination for Rocky Princesses is the Diligent drone. If you combine Rocky and Diligent together, you're going to get the next stage in the line of the Rocky bees. So we're going to put them together, and we're going to watch what happens. Okay. Now remember, the frames will make this bee die quicker, and the uranium will give it a higher chance of mutating into a new species. So let's see what happens right now. So the very first tick of health, about, 10 seconds ago, I let this thing go, and we've got 2 tolerant drones. Now if I beealize these, hopefully they'll both be purebred tolerants, and they are. Look at that. Awesome. So we can see in the Apiarist databank we should now have the tolerant. There it is. And it tells us that it results from the Diligent with, it was Rocky, but Rocky never went through any apiary or alveary, so that's why the database doesn't know about it. It actually has to at least be bred once in order for it to know. Awesome, right? So that was a real quick way to get ourselves some tolerant bees. Now I want to get the next level of bees. So I'm going to take that tolerant princess. I'm going to throw the tolerant drone in here. We don't want that. And we want to breed the tolerant princess with Rocky bees. So I've got a Rocky drone right here. Cool. Let's go ahead and put you back, Rocky drone. So tolerant and Rocky go together, and let's see what happens. I'll be back once they die in about 10 seconds. Oh boy, look at that. 1 tick later, and hardy princess, hardy drone. Let's just make sure they're purebred, and look at that, they are. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Now, if I want to upgrade the hardy to resilient, that's not a problem either. I just got to breed them with the tolerant bees. So let's see, where did let's sort these by species, and my tolerant bee right there, tolerant drone. So normally, once you've gotten the hardy princess, or the tolerant princess, you'd want to get more drones, but I'm not too worried about it because we're doing a good job. So hardy princess, tolerant drone, back in a few. And ta-da, very next line, I got exactly what I was looking for, the resilient princess, and the resilient drone. Purebred, no less. Now, there's only one downside. I do want more resilient bees, but I've only got a fertility of 1 on these guys, which means every time the resilient princess and drone die off, they're going to have only 1 offspring, which means we're never going to get extra drones. And I'm going to want some extra drones because I want to, run these guys through and try and get some good traits out of them. So what we should do then is go ahead and breed them up with a nifty little trait. So we've got the fast productivity serum here. It's been synthesized. Let's go ahead. Let's see. The nocturnal is nice and pure, right? Just want to make sure everything's good. So this serum is highest quality. That's good. I'm going to go ahead. You can see this guy's only average quality. So we'll start purifying that serum. And let's see what other serums I've got. Nocturnal can go in here. There's rainfall, effect cancellation, high fertility. That's what I want. I want to boost their fertility. So let's start synthesizing some of the high fertility serum. Now it's going to take a little while to make, but when we get back, we'll be able to apply the high fertility serum to the princess and drone. And once that occurs, they'll produce more offspring, which is exactly what I want, and then I'll be able to start analyzing those drones and get some of the traits off them. Then we're going to breed them up to something that's more useful, because Rocky Combs, really not so hot, to be honest with you. They don't do all that much. Alright, got my high fertility serum. I put about 8 charges in it, got it up to max quality. Hopefully that's enough for the inoculator to do its thing. Remember, go ahead and throw your resilient princess and drone in here. It has to be the maximum quality available, otherwise it'll do bad things to your bees, and you just don't want that, trust me. So, we're good to go here, right? Now, while that's happening, you can see I've got my scoop on me. There's a World Gen bee that I don't have. At least I don't think I have. So I'm going to go to my mining agent, see if I can't find it anywhere. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to start looking around. I'm looking for a nice little lake of water. I'll be back in a few. Oh, here we go. I had to come to the Twilight Forest to find it because my mining age didn't have much by way of water. But what you're looking for is one of these guys, watery bees. They exist in, water. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? The watery bees are not too bad. They do need lily pads nearby for a flower type, though, so we want to keep that in mind. And we'll get two, of them off afterwards. They are flyer, and they do exist in caves. I don't have a problem with that. And they prefer damp humidity with a plus or minus 1 on the humidity level. So they should be all right, but I do need to get myself some lily pads. Let's go find some of them. You have to shears those, don't you? Let's see. Oh, no, you don't. Okay, wasn't sure. You know Dyer and vanilla mechanics. I just ain't good at it. Alright, so I've got some watery bees. I'm going to see if I can find one more beehive just somewhere nearby. If I do, great. If not, no big deal. One's plenty, probably. And I'll be back. Now, I'd like to get a couple more watery bees, but I don't want to waste my uranium, so I'm going to pull this stuff out, and I'm just going to let the bees hang out in the alveary, the water ones. Cool. Hopefully they'll be okay with that place, not complain too much about the humidity level. If there is a problem with humidity, I can resolve it, because after all, this is an alveary. It would complain. So we'll just get a few extra princesses and drones here, just so I can have enough to, get the watery trait off of them. Oh yeah, and don't forget, lily pads after all. I did forget about that. So, real easy solution. Run outside, get a little bit of water, and hopefully that'll work out for us. So maybe like right back here in the corner. That'll work. Now they should stop complaining about the lack of flowers. Alright, bred myself a few extra drones and did get the water species serum. Got several of them as a matter of fact, so let's just cook that one away. It's another water species serum that can be cooked away. I just like to have the serums of all the bees that I discover. And then the humidity tolerance. I'm pretty sure we've already got a better humidity in the way of both 2 humidity tolerances. So both 1, no such use. So I'm going to get rid of that one as well. And then throw this in my species area. So that's where I've got my rocky cultivated water. So that's looking good. Now that I've got so many extra water drones, let's go ahead and start breeding the bees that I was interested in a moment ago. So I'm going to put you guys in here temporarily, because I'm going to need them in a minute for something pretty useful. Trust me, I'm doing something useful here. I'm not just messing around with bees for the fun of it. Alright, resilient princess, resilient drone, and these guys should both have a better trait of, doing its thing. So, I'll be back in a few minutes once I've got a few extra of those. See? Now they create 3 drones instead of just 1. Nice, right? So we'll go ahead and steal them, and we'll start processing those, and hopefully, like I said, I like to, once I get a decent bee, I like to analyze it and get that species in way of a trait so we can do our thing. Good. Alright, so back in a few, and we're going to take care of the last of this mutation line, which is going to give us a really nice bee. There we go, resilient species serum. Excellent. So we'll get these guys out of here, and we'll put them over here. Resilient species can go in here. Now, I want to combine my water drone with my resilient princess. Let's do it. So, resilient princess, water drone, but don't forget to put your uranium back in. That's an important step. For now, we can probably just do half a stack at a time. So, uranium goes back in. Add the bee, and we should get a really nice bee from this. And then we're going to upgrade that bee to something even better, and you guys are going to love it. So we just got ourselves our first set of lapis bees. I'm going to go ahead and let them breed up a little bit, put away the resilient drones in here, and I'm going to start analyzing the traits of the lapis bee, try and get that species. Even gave myself another set of drones to get out of it. We'll see what happens. But the lapis bee, guess what they produce? Lapis serum complete. Now, for the final combination, Lapis and Noble Bees. Let's see, do I have any nobles in here? I should have a noble around somewhere. Industrious, Imperial, Noble. There we go. That's what I wanted. So, Lapis Bee and Noble Bee. What could this possibly get for us? Something that I think is going to be pretty useful. Let's make it happen. Alright, here goes. Cross your fingers that we get a good bee from this. Ooh, look at these guys. They're bright, they're green, they're emerald drones. That's right. I just made drones and bees that can make emeralds. Sweet. You can see here that they have a specialty of producing some good stuff. So I'm going to take these emerald bees and I'm going to give them some better traits. Right now they'll survive here just fine. Oh, they even got Nocturnal Flyer and Cave. That's good. But what I'm going to do is make sure that they have the fastest productivity and that they, do pretty well. Maybe even give them some more of the offspring. So we've got high fertility serum. We're going to bump that up, get some more in the synthesizer there, and then I'm going to grab fast productivity. I don't have the fastest productivity yet. There's one that's better than fast, but that's okay. So we'll let these guys do their thing. It is the excellent quality, so we're in good shape. Let that cook up, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, and that about wraps up this episode. So, I've got Emerald Princesses and Emerald Drones, and they both will produce a lot of offspring, and they have a fast worker quality, which means they'll produce a lot of materials. And I even put some proven frames in the frame housings, which will increase the output that much more. So hopefully we should be producing a lot, and I mean a lot, of emeralds. But we'll see. We're going to have to come back next episode and see how we make out. Do note that I took the uranium out of the mutators, because I'm just using this apiary as a normal, standard apiary. Now, emerald queens won't produce that many emeralds by themselves, but I'm hoping with all the frames in here and all this good stuff going on that we'll come up with a lot of emeralds, but we'll see. Oh, look, we already got an emerald comb. Our first one. Nice. Let's toss it in here and see what we got. Emerald comb, centrifuge. But for now, like I said, we gotta wrap up the episode. Oh, no emeralds there. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get some good stuff. Alright guys, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Getting pretty close to episode 60 here, so we're going to have a world download again soon. But, between now and then, we've got a couple other things I want to start working on. Lots more stuff. Alright guys, take it easy.